Welcome back to our video. In this video, we are going to learn about a basic introduction of operating system. What is operating system? How they function? What are their functions? All that things we are going to learn about this in this particular video. Hope you understood this video properly. First, operating system, as we always know that the different type of operating system we use daily, like Windows, Mac, Android, and this last one you can see over here is a Linux. Linux normally we don't use as in day-to-day life, but many programmers use Linux to perform some tasks. But Android, Mac, and Windows are the three main operating systems which are available and which are user friendly and which are used most in world. So before learning about operating system, we should know some basic part. That is, what is computer systems? Computer system is a combination of hardware and software components. So as we know that one computer or any operating computer is there that functions only when there is a hardware and software. If one of the component is missing, then I can say that computer system will not be of use. So computer system is a combination of both hardware and software components. It cannot perform a task in the absence of any one component. As I told, if one of the component is missing, then task cannot be performed. It is incomplete. That is, see, we know there are different type of softwares like the day-to-day software like we use like Chrome or we use like Paint, Recycle Bin, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint. All the things comes under software. There is one more part, that is hardware. Hardware like what? So for example, monitor, keyboard, keyboard, mouse, printer, and so on. So that all comes under the hardware. Next, software. A software is a set of programs that gives instruction to a computer. Means what? As we know that, for example, if you want to click a picture, what we'll do? We'll open a camera, and camera will click a picture for us. So camera, that particular application is itself a software. So whatever program we want to do, that instructions are given by the software, and then it performs the given instruction. The instruction tells a computer how to do a task. For example, when I click on a click button on the camera, so it start capturing the photo. So whenever we give any instruction to the application or software, that gives a that gives instruction to the hardware, and then it performs that particular task. So in this case, for example, if I say about computer, if I say that if I say that a software like if I say Microsoft Word, so whenever we type, giving the instruction, we are giving the instruction to a computer to do some particular task. If we don't give instruction, then the computer will not do a particular task. So we need software to do any type of task that is related to computer. A computer uses the required hardware components to complete the task. As I told, if I say if I give a command to take a printout, so what computer will do? First, software will send a command to hardware, and then via computer, and that hardware will perform what computer has given the instruction to the hardware. So whenever I print the print button in the computer on the screen, then the printer gets the instruction that you have to print something. Then start printing the copy what we are requesting. There are different type of softwares over here. For example, over here you can see Google, you can see Google Map over here. Play Store is there. Here it is Android. PayPal is a software via we pay something. Any payment we do. Paytm is there. Google Pay is there. All the software. And whenever we give any command, that particular software start performing as per the command what we are giving to it. Next, now types of software. So software is being classified in two types, that is system software and application software. So what is system software? System software are programs designed to control the operation of a computer system. Are the programs designed to control the operation of a computer system. For example, whatever tasks we do, for example, if I want to shut down, the shutdown down does not happen directly. Shutdown does not happen directly. It will give a command. It will give a command to a computer, then it will perform the tasks. Next, types of software. There are two types of software, that is system software and application software. What is system software? For example, if I say best example of system software is operating system, that's what we are going to learn about. That is one one software which gives instruction to other software to perform particular tasks. For example, if there is no operating system, we cannot do any particular task whatever we are requesting it to do. So these are the program designed to control the operation of a computer system. Whatever computer system operations are there, they are being only controlled by system software. As I told you, if system software is not present, then we will not be able to do any particular task which we want to do. These programs help to run the other software on a computer. So whatever software which are there on the computer, that can be run only by using system software. Next, for example, operating system, device driver, and utility software. Operating system, as you know, Windows is there, Mac OS is there, Android is there. All these are operating system. Device drivers, like there are many drivers which are there. For example, if I want to print a particular document, so I directly cannot print the document. I need a driver for that, that gives actually the command to the printer to print. So that driver and the printer should be connected to each other. So this is called device driver. And utility software. Utility software like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, all these are utility software. Next, application software. Application software we normally use in day-to-day life. For example, Google Map, Paytm, Google Pay. All these are called application software. A computer uses an application software to do tasks given by the user. And so an application software is used for one specific purpose. For example, I cannot give a print command using a Google Pay. Google Pay is normally used to transact the money. Understand? So it is used to perform one particular set of object or one particular set of purpose, or you can say tasks. For example, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel are the application what we normally use. So I cannot use Microsoft Word to transact the things. I can use to show to make document, to make worksheets and all that. Microsoft Excel can be used to make different types of worksheets, like to maintain data about day-to-day transaction what we are taking place. All this we are going to learn in the next video. Microsoft, how to use Microsoft Excel, that is the next video what we are going to learn about. Next, here comes the main topic, that is operating system. So an operating system is a type of system software, as I told earlier. Next, computer cannot be operated without the operating system. As I told you, the computer operating system is one of the main part of the computer system. I cannot say it is a heart is a CPU, but if I say, yeah, operating system need to be there to run any type of program in the computer. An operating system is an interface between the user and the computer system. So it is a mediator. Mediator means whatever command we give, that operating system gives that command to the computer, and then computer performs a particular task what we have given. A user use an application software to send instruction. So as we do know, key computer system or software has been divided into two parts. That is, the one is system software and second is the application software. The application software we use to give a command to a operating system, and then operating system gives the command to the hardware. So over here, an operation receives all the instruction and accordingly passes the control to the hardware devices, as I told. So I can explain with one more diagram over here. You can see that over here, users gives the command to the applications or software, then application software gives command to the operating system, and then operating system gives command to the hardware. Hardware performs the particular task and it gives commands back to the operating system, and operating system gives again back to the application, and then finally we receive the output. This all happens in fraction of seconds. It is not like it takes a lot of time to perform the task. It works like in fraction of a second, and we get the output immediately. For example, if I want to play a song, as soon as I click the song, click on the play button, immediately I am able to hear the sound. So it is very quick over here. Next, function of an operating system. What operating system performs, what tasks it performs, that what we are going to learn about. First, the main task is to start a computer. As I told, we cannot perform any task if there is no operating system. So operating system first of all starts the computer. So when you turn on computer, its OS is loaded into the memory. So memory may the OS, that the operating system is loaded, and then it start performing the tasks. Clear? So the process is called as booting. So the process of loading an OS, that is operating system, onto the computer memory is called as booting. Booting is the main process where the computer starts. If booting is not happening, the computer will not start. This is the problem what many computer faces after we don't use for much more time. So operating system gets does not work properly, and therefore we face a lot of hardware issues and software issues because of that. Second, memory management. Memory management is what? How many memory we should allocate to a given task depending upon the priority. So over here, it allocates a memory space to a task. Whenever we perform a task, to always allocate some amount of memory. Second, it keeps a track of the data loaded into the memory and its usage. So what it means, it, how much memory I have given to one particular task, it and how much it is used. That all the data is being managed by memory management, that is operating system. It deallocates the memory space after a task has been completed. So once the task has been completed, it will deallocate. Deallocate means what? It will take away the memory what operating system is already given to the particular task. Next function of OS, then move some function, that is resource management. So it keeps track of the processes that have hardware or software requirement. So for example, when I say I want to print a document, to print a document that needs a particular software that is called device driver, and it also needs a particular hardware that is called as printer. So resource management keeps a track for what tasks, what hardware or software are needed. It assigns the hardware or software to a process as per the need. So whenever we give any resource, whenever we give any command to operating system, it will manage and it will give that particular task to a particular hardware or software. It keeps track of processes that require the same hardware and software simultaneously. As I told, whenever I give a print command, to print command needs a device driver. Simultaneously, device driver is available, but if the hardware is not available, then there will be a problem. So over here, whenever we give any command to an operating system of printing, the printer gives command. The command is sent to the device driver. Device driver sends command to hardware, that is printer, and then it start printings. So simultaneously, we need both device driver also and hardware also. It has priority system that maintain the order in which a resource need to be allocated to a process. So resource ID to be allocated to a process. Resource ID means what type of resource we need to allocate, and it is depending upon priority. Priority means what? For example, if I say I'm shutdowning the computer, so before shutdown is some tasks are running on the process in the background. So computer will give a command to operating system that there are some tasks which are still not being closed. So first you have to close that tasks, and then you have to shut down the computer. So always this is a priority based resource management. More the priority, more the resources will be used, and then as per the priority, one by one the tasks are being performed. Next, process management. Here, process management means what? A process is a task in execution, means what tasks we are giving and that is ready to perform. That is called execution. That is called process management. An operating system assign a task given by the user. So as I told you, we always assign a task by the user. That is, we are the users, and we give a task to the operating system. And that operating system passes to a CPU. An operating system assign a task given by the user to a CPU and controls the order of its execution, in which way we have to execute and what we have to execute. All it is being performed by the CPU. It allocates the resource according to the sequence. So whatever order we give, as per, like for example, first I give order of printing, then it first print, then I open to music app to play the music. So that particular app will perform the task of playing the music. So as per the order what we have given, as per that it starts as per that it starts performing the tasks. Next, managing files and folder. So over here, An operating system keeps the track of the files and folders stored on the hard disks. So hard disk how we have memory card. That is the same where all the data has been stored. So whatever file we create, any new file will create, that all it is been taken care by the operating system. It allocates memory to store files and folder. For example, if I'm making a PPT, a PowerPoint presentation, in that I do lot of activities, I make different slides. So how much memory I need to perform that task, it is being given by the operating system. That already we have learned in the memory management part. It helps to store files under different folders and or subfolders. For example, I'm creating a memory, I'm creating a PowerPoint presentation, right? So for I'm creating PowerPoint presentation for at least for two standards. For example, 8th standard and 7th standard. So what I will do, I will make a PPT. I will create two folders that is called subfolders. So one there will be a folder for example education folder. In that education folder there will be two folders of 8th and 7th standard, and in that there will be files which I want to store. So all this managing of files and folders have been taken care by the operating system. After the files and folders are deleted, the operating system deallocates the memory. As we already know, deallocates means what it takes away the memory once the files and folders have been deleted. Next, the different types of operating system based on the computers they control and the sort of application they support. Operating system can be of many types. So different operating system have different functions. So as per that, the different type of operating system, first is single user single task. So this was the first operating system which was being used in earlier times. Now we normally don't use this particular single user single task operating system because we always want to perform multiple tasks at the same time. So over here only one user can perform only one task at a given particular time. So this type of operating system manages a computer to let one user to do one task at a time, as I told. For example, Palm OS for Palm and computers. So I will show the photo in the next part over. There is a Palm OS where it can perform only one task at a given particular time. It cannot perform more than one task. This type of system is not being used now in much. As I have written over here, the Palm OS is not much in use these days. Next, second, single user multitask. So here one user can perform multiple tasks at the same time. That's what we normally use in day-to-day life now. This is the most widely used operating system. As I told, Windows, Mac OS, then Android. All these are operating system which performs single user and multiple tasks can be performed. For example, I want to simultaneously play a music and also simultaneously work in the background. I have to work something, so I can do both of them together. Examples of Windows and Mac OS are operating examples of such operating system. They enable a single user to do several tasks at the same time. As I told, at the same time you can do different tasks, that is multiple tasks you can do. Next, for example, surfing and simultaneously working on the presentation. Surfing means whatever we do on Google. So to make a presentation we need information. So at the same time I can do make a presentation also, and when I need to find some information I can go on Google and I can find the information also. So here's the example that you can see that many different tasks has been performed by over here by the user. Something is going on the background over here. Something is some files and folders are open. Some video calling is on over here. So these are the example of single user multiple tasks. Next, multiple user OS. So here's for example when you operate operating system. So in that operating system more than one user can operate at the same time. For example, if I want to create a one account for me and one account for my brother, so I can also have my own account and he can also have his own account. So here many users can use or can take advantage of a single computer resources. So whatever single resources are present in the computer that can be used by more than one user. That is called multiple user operating system. It allows two or more users to share same tasks at one time. So if I want to use Microsoft PowerPoint, so I can also use Microsoft PowerPoint and simultaneously my brother can also use Microsoft PowerPoint. For example, Linux, Unix and Windows operating system. Next, over here you can see that there are 5 users who are using the same computer system. So therefore I can say it is a multi-user operating system. Next, operating system based on the user interface. See, user interface is one of the important part. If the operating system is not user friendly, then what is the use? Because in today's world we need a thing where we can perform multiple tasks in a quick succession of time without remembering lot of codes or lot of commands in that. So over here based on the user interface, there are different types of operating system. So a user interface is a set of commands, menus, and icons that a user need to communicate with a computer. So there are different commands we perform. Different menus are there, and different icons are there to perform some particular tasks. So that helps us to communicate with a computer in easier way. But always commands gives a problem to remember a lot of commands. So we need a interface or a user interface where it can perform in easy way. So that's what we're going to learn about. We are going to learn about both the things, that how user interface works. So an effective interface makes the operating system more attractive. As I told, if it is not easy to use, it is not attractive, why we will use that operating system? So therefore, like PDA, that is single user, single task, we are not using much in today's world because of that particular thing. It is not user friendly. So an effective interface makes the operating system more attractive, useful, and user friendly. Based on user interface, an operating system can be of two types. One is CUI, that is character user interface. Second is graphical user interface. So CUI, that is character user interface, is little bit more difficult to perform the tasks, to use that particular operating system and perform the tasks. But graphical user interface like Android, Windows, yeah, Mac OS are all the operating systems which are very easy to use and user friendly, completely user friendly. The first we will learn about CUI, that is character user interface. In character user interface, it is also called as command line user interface. I will just let you know why it is called command line user interface. It is a user interface in which tasks are performed by typing commands. So as I told, commands, whatever commands we give, that particular command, as per the command, it will perform a task. So if you are not giving a command, it will not perform a task. So here it is very difficult to remember lot of commands, and then it can be a problem for us. Therefore, we don't use more this particular part in normal day-to-day life. Next, it uses a command prompt to enter command in the computer. The command prompt in this system is software what we normally use. It is present in all the operating system, whether it is CUI or whether it is GUI. Clear? It uses a command prompt to enter commands in the computer. Next, it is used to notify the user that the interface is ready to accept commands. So over here, what it does, key the user gives any command, and then whenever he types the command, that gives the user the notification that a computer is ready or interface is ready to perform that particular task. Next, the figure shows the command prompt of MS-DOS, which is a CUI based OS. So this is a figure what they are saying here. It is command prompt what we use. This command prompt, you can see there are different commands written over here to perform some particular tasks. So it is very difficult to remember every time this particular type of command and then perform a task. So this is a MS-DOS, which is a software which we use to perform a character user interface or command line user interface. Next, a command prompt is a combination of text and symbol. You can see in the last part over here that over here we use text and different type of symbols to perform the given tasks. It uses a command prompt C colon slash greater than sign to accept commands. What is this meaning? Always the main documents or the main files and folders whatever we store in the computer is stored in the C drive. Even if you open the uh, your main computer part, you will see first drive is always C. That is where we always store the important files and folders. A CUI is easy to understand and execute. It is easy to understand and execute but difficult to remember. At the same time, a user may find it difficult to remember all the required command, so it is not user friendly as I told earlier. Now, GUI, graphical user interface. A graphical user interface has icons, buttons, windows, and menus on the screen. You can see that on operating system, the different menus are there, different icons are there, different buttons are there. That work more easier. So if I want to shut down the computer, I'll just go and click on the shutdown button. Automatically, it will perform the tasks. But if it is only possible because of graphical user interface. But in CUI, you need to type the whole command and then it will shut down the computer. So it makes it a little bit difficult to perform the tasks using CUI. All these features replace the command that we need to type in CUI. This helps to user not remember a lot of commands. As I told earlier, a user can carry out all the tasks just by clicking on the buttons or icons using a mouse. For example, Microsoft Windows and Mac OS are the example of graphical user interface. Here, this example, you can see different type of commands are there over here to shut down, to click on any of the application. That you just click and directly will start getting the operating system to perform the particular tasks. Advantage of a GUI. A GUI is virtually appealing and attractive. As we know, it is very appealing. You can see that we can perform a particular task in an easier way. A GUI is easier to work on as compared to a CUI. So a GUI is easier to work as compared to CUI. So CUI say अच्छा, it is better to work on GUI because more user friendly. It enables its user to view, control and switch between different applications at the same time. So here in this case, we do not need to type different command to switch from one application to another application. Directly we just minimize and start another application and then we can start using that application immediately. A GUI provides pop-up menus. For example, when we want to delete something, as soon as we click on delete menu, it gives a pop-up menu whether we want to delete or not. That is yes or no, and a host of other options. This can be used to control the access of files and folders. For example, we want to create a new file or new folder. So we can directly click on new folder and directly it will create a new folder for us. We don't have to do any type of commands over here. The users do not need to remember a whole lot of commands that were needed for using a CUI. A GUI provides the facility to access the computer at a far off location. So for example, if I want to perform a particular task using from one computer to another computer, so I can do it by using GUI. For example, I am sitting in one particular place in different city or different state and I want to control one particular software or computer which is present at different particular city or state. Then I can easily perform by using a GUI. Next, this is known as remote access. There are many GUI OS available, that is Microsoft operating system, then Microsoft operating system is there, Mac OS is there, Linux is there. All these are GUI operating system. Each one has a distinct design and structure. These are different operating system, therefore different functions they have, different design they have. Newer version of the same GUI have hundred of new features that make it more user friendly. For example, the operating system which was there in earlier time like Windows 98, then comes Windows XP, then comes Windows 2000, Windows 8 it came, Windows 10 it came. Now presently the best operating system is Windows 10 in Windows. In Microsoft OS or a Mac OS, there are different type of operating system. So as the new operating system comes, the new features also are included in that particular operating system. For Windows 7 has a different design and structure from Windows 10 as I told earlier. So this is the part, this is the end of the video. Hope you understood this video. It is very easy, just you have to go through whatever I have taught. If you remember, this is the basic of operating system. Then lot of things are there in the operating system, but this is one of the basic thing what we have learned. Hope you understood this part. Thank you and have a nice day.